Hey guys, Lord Sora here. I have had quite the first day of PTR testing multiple builds. One of the first things I wanted to test was if shadow builds are any good going into season 6, especially since now that we have received the new darkness ultimate. I have initially tried to make a new shadow build solely around Soul Rift as a main damage dealer, but that's going to be a topic for another video coming in following days. In the background, you're seeing a Blight Ebonpiercer build doing millions of DPS already with stat squish and clearing tier 70 with ease in Torment 4 difficulty. Disclaimer, the purpose of this video is not to highlight a specific build of mine, but just to show how strong this Blight build can get going into season 6. In fact, I don't even run a full planned out build here. The gear I have on right now was built for Bone Spirit, so I'm missing a lot of gear. That will make this build functioning even better, but it's already performing quite decently. This build received few new buffs with new ultimate, and sense regen is already feeling very good. And this is literally, again, like I mentioned, I had only one resource regeneration on the gear, which is not ideal at all. And on top of this, one of the reasons this build performs really well is we have a new key passive that buffs our damage further. And additionally, we also received the wither buff, which was much needed after they implemented a cap on it. However, I think the cap is still bugged, which makes this build a little bit overperforming. However, if that gets fixed, obviously that's going to be nerfed to this, but we are still not utilizing any rune shards, and I will go over my gear in a second. That is, you will see how unoptimized I was running this build and still clearing tier 70 at ease in Torment 4. And my paragon is also very random currently since I was testing multiple builds and I'm not really benefiting much from it. Let me show you guys my gear for the context. Majority of them are like not even ancestral, with wrong tempering and not even fully masterwork. Starting with weapons right off the bat, here is I'm running maces, mace and a focus. Ideally you would want an axe, and these are not even ancestral. Was able to put one tempering on, and a lot of missing damage here just because it's a low item power and not even fully masterworked. And you can see actually one of the temperings that I have imprinted is chance for blood wave to deal double damage, which is not what you want. Like I mentioned, I was testing a lot of different builds and interactions in this PTR for the first day, and this is what I had on for the blood wave, and I couldn't find another weapon with better stats, so I decided to go with this just to see how it feels. Same situation with focus. I still have chance for double wave to deal double damage just to be able to test the blood wave, which I will work on that video like I mentioned. But yeah, the gear is very not optimal. I had the Unmaker helmet, which I believe might not be that ideal because we're not actually benefiting from its damage that much. But I had a GA resource regen on this one, which helped a lot with sustain and blight. And it's kind of crazy to me actually. I was able to sustain with no problem using blight, spamming blight, and just relying on Soul Rift, which Soul Rift actually gave really good essence generation, especially even single target during bossing, which is really good. Speaking of essence generation, to show you guys how unoptimized this gear is, I actually have ultimate cooldown reduction on this one, life per second, damage, max life, not optimal at all. But I also have here totally a waste, crit chance, and a casting macobstacles restore primary resource. This is not optimal at all, hence why you were seeing me in the run having Bone Spirit on the skill bar. I was actually experimenting some setups with Bone Spirit and Unmaker and Essence Regeneration, which I will have a video on that pretty soon as well. But yeah, very unoptimal. You do not want to have this one. But even these items, I was able to clear tier 70 at ease, as you guys can see in the video. Kind of going over my gear here quickly. We are not even actually capped on some of the resistances here, as you can see, but overall feels really good even without having to do much for it. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot of testing, theory crafting during PTR. Wanted to get this out to you guys real quick to see if you are curious about if shadow builds are going to be any good or not, or gonna make a comeback. I think it's very possible with Blight now to push endgame content like we could in Season 4. I'm testing few other builds at the same time, including overpower shadow slash blood wave, which I believe one of the best, if not the best build for necromancer. So stick around for that. Hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be sharing new build guides as well, ideas and feedback from PTR in the coming days. Before I end the video, I want to also talk about a PvP update. I know a lot of you has been asking for a PvP build, so I feel obligated to give you guys some info and not leave you all in the dark. PvP has been more broken than ever this season in my opinion, with a very low population. I think it's the all-time low actually, especially considering it's only a 2-month season. So I had a hard time staying motivated focusing PvP. I wanted to venture more into realm of PvE this season, especially as we get more endgame challenging content on that side of things. I still plan on releasing updated Shadow Wave PvP build, but with all honesty, it is really hard for me to push people trying PvP or playing PvP in general, knowing the state it's in. I will talk more about it in the coming days, so I hope you guys stick around with the channel with some of the new direction we might be taking. As always, thank you guys for all the support and watching the videos. Looking forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Cheers.